Hey guys, it's Luca with FoilMagicCards.com, and today I'm going to talk about a really big order of grading that I sent to BGS and just got back recently, like a few weeks ago. I sent it out in February of 2021, so it took about like 16 months to get it graded, which was kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, it's just good to be able to get it graded. I also got it graded right before they changed their prices, so I think the average cost per card was about like $18, which I think is way less than what you'd have to pay now. So I'm pretty thrilled about how low I paid for the grading. And also at the same time, I'm excited by how high the grades were. So 65% of the cards that I sent to get graded got a 9, and 16% got a 9.5. So that's pretty solid. The way you want to think about this, in my opinion, is like anything below a 9, you're kind of losing value. I've found it's very difficult to sell 8.5s at this point in time. Like, who really wants an 8.5? Most collectors are very interested in the 9.5s, and then much less people are going after 9s. And then almost no one's going after an 8.5. At that point, you'd really just rather have a raw card, I think. As an investor, you'd rather have a raw card because it's way more liquid. You could sell it more easily, and you could probably even sell it for more than the graded copy. Just because it's so hard to get rid of a graded 8.5. So, kind of with that as the basis, anything you get that's graded a 9 or 9.5 is fantastic, and anything that's below that is kind of like it's kind of mediocre. You kind of lost your money. Obviously, it's a you miss all the shots you don't take. It's one of those types of situations where you're just playing the odds. So, according to my last my last submission, 81% of the cards were 9s or higher. So only on 19% of the cards that I submitted did I actually get like a bad grade. And we can kind of talk about some of the bad grades that I got. So I'm just going to go through the results. So I guess one more thing I'll talk about is I love to use PWCC. A lot of people talk crap about PWCC. In my experience, it's just been great. I need to store my cards. I don't want to store them here, and I don't want to store them in a bank vault. It's actually kind of unwieldy to store all this stuff in a bank vault for a lot of different reasons. I've got high scan pictures I can show people. I can post links to my stuff, and maybe probably there's two super great things. One is if I buy anything like on eBay and have it sent to my vault, it's in Oregon, so I don't pay sales tax. So I'm paying 8% less on anything I buy on like eBay or TCG. That's fantastic. The other thing is if I need to ship stuff out when I sell it, which happens all the time, I just submit, what is it called? You just, you pick a card. I can't pick one of these cards because these are not yet, but if I picked like one of these, and I could say actions, ship, and they'll ship it to whoever I want. Fulfillment, that's what I'm looking for. So if you want to do fulfillment, you can just very easily ship your cards anywhere. I don't have to get the packing materials. I don't have to find the card and put it in the packing materials, go to UPS. I don't have to do any of that stuff, and that's actually really, really, really valuable. And also, since they're doing it at such a high frequency, at such a high scale, they can do it. They can ship it cheaper than you can. And they can have it insured for cheaper than you can. It's just a fantastic service, in my opinion. Really just streamlines the whole process of buying and selling graded cards. Also, another thing is there's a marketplace on PWCC. So I can list all my cards on that marketplace. It's almost like a third source of selling cards after eBay and TCG. And occasionally someone will, buy one of my cards or send me an offer on one of my cards. So overall, very pleased with PWCC. I guess one of the downsides is, they take a while to appraise. They have to do appraisals on all the cards, which is just super annoying. So I'm still waiting for them to do that. And until they do that, and this process takes about a week or two, it looks like. And until they do that, I can't ship these out. So I have sold some of these already to people, but I can't ship them out because I'm waiting for the appraisal. So that is one of the annoying things. Anyways, this is PWCC. I really recommend it for anyone who wants to kind of do investing and doesn't want to store the cards at their own home. Okay, so let's just kind of go through these. So Ring of Gix, I got a 9-5 Ring of Gix. I got an 8 Quicksilver Amulet. And one of the themes that I realized, like, one of the things I would do differently the next time around is I think I was really good on surface and corners and edges. So I only submitted stuff that had like really nice surface and corners and edges. Sometimes there's some bad surfaces, but for the most part I think I was pretty good on that. The worst grades I got were like centering issues, right? So you can see this Quicksilver Amulet has really bad centering. Let's see if we can look closer. Right, you can see how this corner like is way off. So anytime you have a card that's like way off center and you're trying to submit it to BGS, I would not submit it because it's going to nuke the entire grade. Like, for example, I got this memory jar. It had good corners, edges, surface, but the centering was so bad that I ended up getting a 7.5 instead of getting, it could have potentially got a 9, right? So so that's one of the lessons I learned, because I just was like, who cares about centering? I wasn't thinking about centering at all, and this time around, next time around when I submit, I'm definitely going to pay more attention to centering. But yeah, my strategy was basically like, okay, look, I'm sending these cards in. It's like they're about to raise the grading prices. So I'm just going to grade anything that I think has a shot at getting a good grade. I didn't care what it was. Anything that was a foil old border, old frame, OG foil, however you want to call it. So I've got a lot of like even commons and uncommons, but because my logic is like, if anyone else ever wants to grade any of these cards, they're going to have to pay more money than what I paid. And they're going to have the same shot at getting a good grade that I am. So this just seems like kind of a good value proposition for me. And kind of the underlying thesis is that eventually people will need these cards if they're if they're wanting to complete graded sets. Right? So that's kind of the whole idea of like why do I, why am I grading like these as opposed to like a Shards of Alara rare foil or something, right? Like, to me, the supply of like all the modern sets or like non-foil modern sets is just too high to the point that people are just going to realize like, hey, these things aren't rare at all, who cares? Whereas, there have been people who have said, after like alpha and beta, all the OG foil rares are like, some of the lowest print run cards in the game. So basically, it's kind of like a scarcity thing. I'm just going after like really scarce stuff. So 9 defense grid, 7.5. Again, the centering is totally off. So yeah. So learn from my mistake. If you see like horrible centering like this, do not send it in to get graded. And the interesting thing too is like this card, when you're selling on TCG, the centering has nothing to do with near mint. So I could sell this as a near mint on TCG. So honestly, I should just like crack this. I might have sold this to someone, but honestly, like anything that's like this, that's like the corners and surface and edges are kind of fine, just crack it and sell it as a near mint on TCG, I guess. There's a 9 damping engine, 9.5. So the 9.5s are really what's exciting. Knighthood. It's just an uncommon, but 9 Karmic Guide, 9.5 Phyrexian Plague Lord. A few people asked me for this one. So one of the things that I noticed, like after I got these results and I posted them to the graded Magic card group on Facebook, is like 95% of what people asked for were the 9.5s. Like everyone's like going after the 9.5s. And then some people were going after 9s, but it's like mainly 9.5s. So that just like told me like, okay, the 9.5s are probably the most liquid for BGS. And then the 9s would be the next, and like anything below that's like highly liquid, really hard to sell. 9 Avalanche Riders, pretty cool. Scrap Heap. So these are all the Urza's Legacy stuff. Mercy, Blessed Reversal. A lot of these cards I got really cheap. Like a lot of these foil rares I got for like under $10 each. Even some of these cards I got for like $5 each, right? So if you think about that, like $5 plus $18 to get graded, so it cost me like $23 to get some of these, and I can probably sell them for like $100. So I've made another video for those who haven't seen it. Basically, the premium that you get for a 9 for the OG foils is like a 50% premium to the raw value plus like a grading cost of like $30. And for a 9.5, you pretty much triple the value plus like $30 for the grading. So yeah, so if any of these, some of these might have gone from like, in the raw might have gone from like $5 to $40 or something. So you can imagine pretty good value there. Really, the only issue is like they're so hard to sell. So, but I think that might change in the future. I'm actually banking on that changing because I think kind of like the same way that the reserve list like blew up at some point, like it just became a meme basically, and like every video on YouTube about Magic Finance is talking about the reserve list. I think the same thing's going to eventually happen with the old frame foils. And when that moment comes, then these will be easy to sell. So I'm kind of like waiting for that moment. Delusions of Mediocrity, Levitation, Brink of Madness. Let's see if there's any like 9.5s. We'll just talk about the 9.5s. Another Phyrexian Plague Lord 9.5, pretty sweet. 9.5 Second Chance. 9.5 Anthroplasm, very nice art. Some people like this artist, Ron Spencer. 9.5 Quad Attrition. So this is probably like the best. I think this is the only quad I got. So that should tell you how hard it is to get a quad. 1 out of 171 cards I submitted got quad. 9 Palinchron, pretty badass. I think I got this Palinchron for like $250 or something. Let's see what it's worth now. So Nearman foil is 600, so this thing might be worth like $900. So kind of like tripled my money there, assuming I can sell it. Pretty sweet. Now Mercy, Levitation. Let's look for some 9.5s. Okay, 9.5 Temporal Adept, pretty cool. Oh, this is a quad plus? Holy moly. Okay, so I guess I got 2 quads. I haven't even looked through this. I don't even know yet which of mine are quad. I probably should have done that before. Flicker 9.5. False Prophet 9.5. (9.5) Urza's Blueprints. 9.5 Thran Golem. 9.5 Trap Runner. I'm very high on like Mercadian Mass block. I think these cards are super rare relative to what people think they are. So yeah, any 9.5 from this set I'm like very happy about from this block. So that's like Prophecy, Mercadian Mass, and Nemesis. 9.5 Pattern of Rebirth. (9.5) Flailing Core. Or Flailing Ogre, whoops. So just a common, but honestly, like, the amount of trouble you'd have to go through to find a nice one, get it graded. I don't know what I would sell. I'd probably sell this card for somewhere between like $50 to $100, something like that, even though it's just a common. just because of all the trouble you'd have to go through to get a 9.5 for something like this. Maybe it's even worth more, I don't know. Okay, because I mean, let's do the math, right? Like, you know, if you have the same like hit rate that I did, which is like 16%, that's like 1 out of 6. So you'd have to get 6 of these, like nice condition, raw, which is hard. That might cost you like $5-10 each. Let's say it's like $5 each. It's probably more like $10 each, honestly. Okay, so that's like $60 right there. Then you gotta get them all graded. Let's say that's like $30 to grade. I don't know how much grading costs, but I'm gonna guess it's around $30. So 30. So it's like 40 times 6. So it's gonna cost you $250 to eat. Then you'd also end up with more stuff. You'd end up with some 9s and some 8.5s. But it's gonna cost you like $240 on average to get a 9.5, even in a crappy Comet foil. So maybe I should value these at like 200. Of course, then it's like if no one's willing to buy it at 200, even though the replacement cost is around 200, then still like it's not worth 200. But that's one way of thinking about it, and that cost is only going to go up over time, right? Okay, what else do we got? Root Water Thief. Multiple people really wanted this sold immediately. I think it's like invitational card or something, like designed by Mike Long, I believe. 9.5 Word of Blasting. Again, very happy to have any Mercadian Mass foil as 9.5. Warmonger 9.5. Ogre Taskmaster 9.5. So this one's a quad plus. Nice. Okay, so I have 3 quads so far. So one thing I will note is like I think when it comes to like kind of crap rares that you would never put in a deck, it may be easier to get quads for these because there's going to just be more of these that were just lying in binders that no one was ever using. So you can keep that in your calculations. It's always something to think about, right? Because let's say you have like a fetch land, right? Like 90% of foil fetch lands were played in decks. So it's going to be a lot harder to get a quad foil fetch land than it is to get like a quad foil just horrible crap rare from Onslaught that was just put in a binder immediately because it had no use, right? So I always like to think about kind of the life cycle, the use cases for different cards, because that's going to really change the amount of basically gradable copies that are in existence. The more playable a card is, as long as it's not like a super fancy card that some people are just going to want to grade right away, the fancier, the stronger the card is for constructed formats, in my opinion, the lower the effective print run for gradable quality foils there are. Let's see what other 9.5s we got. Crenellated Wall. Very cool. Chiron Archive. Yeah, like 9.5 foil rare from Mercadian Mass. Very thrilled. Very thrilled. I think these should be worth a lot more than what people are pricing them at right now. Vishino Cutthroat 9.5. Another one. Ancient Silverback 9.5, very cool. I really like the art on this card. What else? Interesting how they priced one of these. Probably because someone actually sold like one for that price, so that's how they priced it. Defense of the Heart. So this one got docked because it had bad surface and corners, okay. $9.5 Hunting Moa. 9.5 Deepwood Legate, 9.5 Cackling Witch, and these are my CGCs that I turned in recently. So that's it for this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long and boring. Just all my thoughts on this recent submission, what my thinking process was going into this, what I learned from this, what I recommend people do. So I do recommend that, if you have these old frame foils, to get them graded if you think they're like very close to pristine. Be very aware of the surface, corners, edges, and centering. Don't forget centering like I did. And I do recommend using something like PWC. I don't think anything else really exists besides PWCC, so I do recommend using something like PWCC as a way to like store your cards and easily be able to move them around if you're kind of an investor like me and you're selling them after you grade them. So that's it for this video. I'm Luca from FoilMagicCards.com. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope to see you guys in another video.